Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome back to yet another SpyParty Masters Championship cast of 2024. I'm your humble host and TO Wrestler, and today we'll have the final Challenger semifinal, the winner of which is going to face C-Rams. But it's between LevT and Roxo, and to help me cast it and break it down, I have, as always, the wonderful Toboshi. Good evening.
Good evening, and as always, it's a pleasure to be here.
I appreciate of you about that. So here is the bracket for the SMC 24. We're currently in the Challenger stage. 3 of the Challenger semifinals have been decided. It's the final Challenger semifinal match between LevT and Roxo. And I think yet again, some of these final matches were the David and the Goliath type. I think this is something similar as well.
Yeah, it's like Lev is a monster. It's hard to say anything else, but like Roxo has definitely got a good shot at this, but Lev is a monster.
Yeah, I would tend to agree with you there. So, for the yearly results for him, he has been solid but not elite. So that's why he's in the Challenger stage. Also, I've barely messed out on the Champion stage though. And I would say Lev at its strongest, his spy isn't super, I would say, out there. He will take risk, but it's definitely not something crazy like, for example, OP, right? Sometimes will take insane rushes. But I think that the biggest strength for him is his elite sniper. When Lev is on point, he will shoot you not to just on the mission count. He will shoot you when you just do 2 missions sometimes. It's almost like a statement shot. And moving on to Roxo, that's the thing I'm worried about for him. Is whilst he had the most Swiss points during the Swiss events, so that's how he got into the 13th seed this year. But I'm just worried if his spy is slightly, I want to say, lackadaisical and not confusing enough for Lev. I'm just worried that Lev will have a comfortable sniping experience, and that's not something you want to hand out for a potentially skull-crushing sniper. I want to say suffocating is the word.
Yeah, absolutely. Lev's sniper really is the bread and butter, the backbone of his SpyParty game. As you were saying, he does have a very just simple, solid, orthodox kind of spy play, the kind of play that is going to punish snipers who aren't on their game and just put on all of the pressure they can in the most solid and consistent way possible. He's not going to do anything crazy and off the wall, but he's going to put up a good, solid spy game every single time. And it's up to the sniper of the opponent to be able to deal with that. And generally speaking, even if they can, what Lev really does is rely on his monster of a sniper side to carry him through.
Speaking, but we have to know where they're gonna snipe, so quickly going through bans and restricts. But the bans are Taeyan and Modern from Lev and Roxo respectively, and restricts are Highrise and Redwoods. Moving on along through the draft order, Lev is gonna pick Library, Redwoods, and Gallery, whilst Roxo is gonna be picking Courtyard. I believe that is the first Courtyard pick of this tournament. Same with Highrise, actually. And finally, the 6th venue will be Ballroom. The multiplies are Ballroom and Courtyard, respectively. Interesting that Lev decides to multiply Roxo's pick.
Yeah, very interesting. That probably means that Roxo kind of accidentally stumbled into a venue that Lev really liked. Possible that Lev left it open knowing that Roxo would be likely to pick it, but either way, it's going to be a fun one. Lev looks like they're picking a bunch of the larger venues other than Veranda. Veranda's a little bit too hard to get things done in, I suppose. But yeah, it's going to be a good time.
Yeah, but before we get to the game, Deboshi, it's obligatory. We have to make predictions, and my name is never first. It's your turn to pick.
All right, I think it's gotta be Lev. Let's say 9 to. Who's spying first? Lev's spying first. 9-6.
Okay. I'm also gonna say LevT, but just gonna have to say that Lev has been on form a bit recently. I'm just gonna have to assume it's gonna follow the same score as Operites, 9-4. That is my.
Oh boy.
Just, I no disrespect to Roxo, but it's the tournament organizer bias since he's also the tournament organizer.
Lev's
But
a monster.
we'll see if that's the case. We have to get into the games to find that out, and we will see Lev spying first on Library as Boots. Are you ready?
I am indeed. Let's get this thing underway in 3, 2, 1, playing it.
You pick Library. What's your plan?
Usually not taking an entire cross map path to start things off, but sometimes if that's where the missions are, especially the seduction target, that's where you gotta go. It looks like LevT did exactly that. Wasn't even able to get the flirt off from it, but honestly, I think probably find a time ad somewhere and then just slowly start chipping away at missions as best you can.
Thus far, we're just kind of idling still. I think we're just waiting for a seduction target to land somewhere, since that's usually the bottleneck for finishing missions, is that pesky flirt. You always have to get it done, especially on the 5A library. Also, in some venues... No. Lev, I think, correctly respects... since the Roxo laser, since we were definitely staring it down.
Oh no, seduction target bails on us again, so we're a minute in at this point. A minute and 15 in, and we haven't gotten any progress done. Now we get our first briefcase pickup, so that is going to be a fingerprint, I thought, but apparently not.
And we dropped the briefcase behind the pillar, so we didn't want it to go away all the way with the briefcase. But we're gonna go there anyway. Seduction target is here. We're gonna finally get the first flirt. It's 51%.
So definitely a slow start from Lev. Wants to pick up the pace moving forward with just under 3 left to play. But 51% on the flirt is a decent start. Double walking bug, completely invisible.
Oh, that was a beauty.
Absolutely hidden by the ambassador. There's not much better bug you're going to get than that.
Oh, look at the replay here. It's an absolutely perfect double walking bug. And yeah, completely clean. Wait, didn't take. That didn't take. Wait.
No, it's apparently not.
I was too excited from your call, Tobo. It didn't take.
I'm a little bit flabbergasted. I thought it looked perfect, but apparently it was just a smidge too far away by the time.
Also, that fingerprintable briefcase wasn't a fingerprint at all. So we just have a flirt done.
Yeah, I knew the print didn't come off, but I missed the fact that the bug didn't take. So now, 2 minutes left to play, and all we've got is the flirt done as we step into the statues for a pair of inspects. Ambassador is here as well, so we might be able to get a bug off on the way out. Does indeed take it, but that one gets seen. Very unfortunate from Lev with a gorgeous double walking bug that just somehow didn't take.
Oh dear, let's take a look. So, we are all... The sniper laser at this moment is all the way out, but when we put back the statue, we are definitely guarding it here, and we're just a tad... the Roxo laser swings perfectly, sees the hand clear as day, takes the shots, and... I've also unfortunate that bug initially didn't take, and I think with that time pressure, we felt that we needed to make a play. But maybe a timeout was more warranted. I get that it's tempting, but Roxo on point with his laser movement, and we're up 1-0.
That's the challenge of having Taft as the ambassador. He is such a large character that the distance between you and him can feel a little bit different than it is. There was a lot of overlap between the circle as well, but it just wasn't quite enough. Just barely on the edge of what was going to take. But Roxo is able to find the first win on the sniper side. Let's see if he can do it on the spy as well. In 3, 2, 1, playing it.
Well, that was an unfortunate, slightly unlucky first game from Lev. Both the fingerprint and the bug not taking. It is still 5 of 8 library, so he still has quite a decent shot at getting back the game as a sniper, as we get a flare for 31%.
31% on a distant green test is not usually what you want to see. A green test and still not in 3 flirt range without another, but sometimes you take what you can get, and when it's the seduction target joining you, sometimes that's what you get. Into yellow bookcase we go. Let's see what we do with the book, if anything.
I wouldn't mind. I was gonna say I wouldn't mind. Oh, the seduction target leaves that pesky briefcase. The eyes were attracted to that, and we were looking for that second seduce, but Smallman had to ruin our plans. So yeah, we have this yellow book. So we are behind the pillar. We could technically transfer if we wanted to, but instead we're gonna grab a flirt.
I don't mind this at all. Roxo shying away from the high-tier shenaniganry to start things off. So he's got the yellow book in hand, 82%, and at least for now, it looks like the spy game is going to be relatively orthodox.
I would say you would only try to do that play this early on if you're very competent in your library knowledge. And not even some of the best players in the world would be tended to going for that play. So, understandable why, especially on the very first game of the set. Oh no, seduction target leaves for like the 3rd time, I think.
Yeah, it's true. Hiding behind those pillars is not something you can do just by feel. You really have to have practiced your positioning behind them and know exactly what is visible and what isn't. Either way, we're in conversation with a double agent, but not a seduction target at this point. We'll see if Roxo wants to take it or if there's just a bit too much movement at the moment.
I think we want these conversations to slightly fill up. Or... Oh, we're waiting for Wheels to go into conversation. Yeah, Roxo is thinking that he's the biggest suspect here. We get the contact off. That lets off...
4.
Yeah. General was also out, but Lev's laser was on the completely wrong side. And if you don't see initially if someone is out, especially on library, you don't want to assume that that the spy could have possibly done a split.
Yeah, took I think one slightly risky low light, but someone at a bookcase that quickly after a contact is usually
we're tempted.
Safe.
We're gonna go for a transfer here with Flirt.
And Flirt at the same time. Yeah. Flirt done. This should be the transfer done. It doesn't look like this is ringing any alarm bells for Lev. 2 missions to go, minute and a half.
Yeah, the laser flicker onto us, but no highlights. Maybe I was just the cat. Oh, I was gonna say we're gonna talk bookshelves to bookshelf. But instead, no, we're gonna go across the venue to another empty pad. Not even a time mat one at that. Though I don't think.
Let's try to figure out what the plan is going to be.
Oh, we're requesting.
Probably
we're requesting.
A little bit.
We're gonna do a purloin here. It's a green purloin.
Gets the green too.
Oh, are we gonna go a swap?
This might be swap. I think this is going to be a swap purloin finish.
Oh no, it's we're failing a fingerprint. We're doing inspect. The purloin's still going on. But I actually like this no swap here since the purloin hasn't come off yet.
Indeed. It's being watched very closely to see if the statue swaps. Statue to statue we go, does get us a highlight for the 3rd inspect, but the purloin is still pending. There's finally the take. Does Lev know what's happening here? He's looking for the swap, doesn't see it, but the list is gone.
It's not gone yet, it's still pending.
I don't know what I saw.
Okay, Pearls now take it.
Now
it's still a shot.
And somehow Lev is still on top of it, after all that time, the shot comes off, and what looked like a perfect break for Roxo doesn't wind up being it. Lev is able to get a very impressive shot at the end of the game to keep things level after Library.
Okay, I want to see the duration of that purloin. So we purloin at 109, and let's see how far does Toby travel. Okay. Oh dear, oh
I think
me.
that's just over a minute.
Okay, yeah, that's around a minute, yeah. And the thing that impresses me is we immediately shoots Irish here. That's the most impressive thing for me.
Yeah, just under a minute was how long that purloin chain goes. I think I saw the mission win pending and just thought that the purloin had come off when it hadn't.
Yeah, I still a great spy game from Roxo, but you can see that
Absolutely.
sniper in action.
It's hard to get past LevT. You usually need to do some fancy stuff on the spy side to make it happen, but right now, it's Lev on the spy side on Courtyard, any 4 of 7. In 3, 2, 1, playing it.
It's the first time we see Courtyard in any of these matches. You're not the favorite from players by any chance. Oh, there's a bug! But the highlight and an immediate shot, okay? Come down. Rich.
Yep. Sometimes you gotta make that play early on, and sometimes it just doesn't work the way you hoped. Roxo on top of things. LevT goes down early in the spy game on Courtyard. Let's see what Roxo is able to do with it. In 3, 2, 1, playing it.
Dear me. Yeah, okay. You kind of spring on me there, but it's fine.
My apologies.
What is this sniper? We were safetying up and just rotating around like a security camera.
That is kind of goofy, yeah. Not usually the way you play Courtyard, but Roxo wasn't able to take advantage of it. Not that they knew what was going on. It's going to be an early 28% on the flirt, and immediately into a briefcase for the first fingerprint of the game.
As I like this early fingerprint, whilst it gives you some more suspicion, you do have options for a full soft tail finish on Courtyard. And if you get a print at round around end time, if we don't know, I just think you can potentially get away with the soft tail finish on Courtyard, especially if you get that fingerprint off.
There's the second flirt. This one a close green brings us up to 79%. So we've got the 2 flirts, we've got the 1 print. We're in conversation with the double agent as well, with 2 minutes and 10 left to play. It's not a bad time for it, all things considered.
Yeah, 2 statue goers at the moment, so maybe that's why Roxo is pulling trigger, as we are going to be requesting a drink. Oh, the double agent leaves though. That's a bit unfortunate.
Yeah, waiting for the statue goers to get back in conversation, and waited just a little bit too long for it.
So the Courtyard is, as we like to refer, like, what's the 4th mission? So it's pretty much every spy is gonna seduce, contact, and inspect. And what's that 4th mission? We left the option for us to fingerprint, but unfortunately Bastard doesn't take a drink. We do finish flirt though, so that's finally good.
Yep, flirt done. So we have the print available to us, but we're a little bit behind the clock. We haven't been to statues yet with 1 minute and 15 left, so we're in a little bit of difficult situation mission progress-wise. This is going to be our statue visit for the 2 inspects, but we don't have the contact yet, so we're just a little bit under the timer here.
Thus far we're not seen. We haven't been rotated out to see. Okay, now we finally do. In hindsight 2020, but this could have been an interesting time to do a swap into an immediate going to conversation. As we're going for our second briefcase here. So this will complete it if we want to.
It's not the most subtle way of getting a fingerprint done. It was 2 briefcases, both of which were not attempted to be hidden. But that does put us with one mission away with contact available. Here's the contact coming off on a white test.
Banana bread.
What's the reaction from Lev? It looks like it's just going to be a shot, and indeed it is. Lev's sniper holds firm once again.
Good mission count from Lev. Yeah, whilst as you said, the fingerprints weren't exactly hidden. So I guess the only missed opportunity, maybe we could have potentially tried to do a swap when the sniper wasn't looking, but that's such a risky play. If that doesn't work, you're just straight up dead. And with this finish, you can potentially trip up a sniper, but as we mentioned ago, LevT, too good. We're tied up back at 2, and yeah, this is a double Courtyard, so we're gonna see 2 more of these. And
indeed we are. Let's see what Lev is able to do on their first real attempt at the spy side of Courtyard in 3, 2, 1, playing it.
I like the implication that the first Lev game wasn't a real game, so that doesn't count. We just reject it from memory.
Not much interesting going on in the early stages for LevT in conversation with the double agent, but with a very spread out party, and you usually don't want to contact quite that early anyways. Unlikely anything is going to come from this.
Yeah, but early contact is really good if there's only like potentially 1 person out. That will pull a lot of pressure on the sniper. But there's like 3 or 4 people out at the very early contact, just relieves so much net pressure from the sniper. Since that's 4 less guests you have to remember for the rest of the game, but potentially 3 minutes and up.
Absolutely. But it's been a very slow start from Lev here. No mission progress as of yet. Just hanging out in conversation with the double agent here as the conversations do start to fill up. So he might actually take this early contact. Never mind. He steps away just as I'm saying it, and it looks like it's going to be a flirt attempt early on, but not the one he was looking for.
I was gonna say slow implies that we're doing some progress. Before that, we were doing none.
Oh, if he can twitch over here, he might be able to get a...
Roxo's lasers all over it, so...
Yeah.
Roxo has been very, I would say, very principled thus far. Sometimes at the higher level snipers, sometimes they'll break what's considered to be the bread and butter of sniper, since sometimes he can get away with it. Oh, that's a white time at. I think we needed to, but let's see if Roxo reacts.
Yeah, I definitely think we needed to as well. And even with that white time ad, we are behind the timer here. 2 minutes and 5 left to play, and all we have is the 1 flirt.
But the good thing with this time ad is good, even if we don't have any missions to speak for it, vids will give a lot more people time to go to statues and potentially even softail completion, as Teal here, a statue goer, does get a fingerprint, so she isn't for a contact, and Roxo might not remember it.
Here's we have contact coming off.
Oh.
Banana bread.
Oh, that's a mission!
Immediately the shot goes off, and it's not the correct one. Roxo was on to something that they weren't necessarily should have been on to, and LevT is able to get the first break of serve.
Yeah, I want to check what is Rocker did that was so egregious, so I want to see. So, let's look at from the start of the game just very quickly. So, no potential bug credit early on. Nothing. Fingerprint on the case here. Maybe a potential bug credit somewhere. But apart from that, she's not even a statue goer. Oh, that's the wrong game. Oops. Here's the real game. Let's see. Where's Rocker? Yeah. Yeah, I don't know. Yeah, maybe a bug credit here since we're standing the ambassador really long. But yeah, we were sitting in this conversation for long. Maybe bug credit fingerprint here into a statue. Was that a fingerprintable? Oh, that was a fingerprintable statue. So she could have potentially been done with missions.
Well, that'll do it. Sometimes the party just lines up in a way where counting missions leads you in the wrong direction. SpyParty giveth and SpyParty taketh away, and this time it led LevT to his first spy win of the game. Let's see if Roxo is able to come back to it in 3, 2, 1, playing it.
So, yeah, that was a very reasonable shot. Back-to-back fingerprints into a contact in the almost immediate for as we flirt for 34%, so this time we made the our previous shot the seduction targets. I guess we're trying to make amends.
Yep. Roxo very early on here, 34% on the close white. This is what you like to see at the start of a game.
Yeah, I'm wondering if we're gonna timer flirt this one out. Won't mind this if we don't stone here for the full flirt, since we're gonna need 3 anyways, since we failed the first green. And I think if you can wait for this one, but I think afterwards we kind of want to move.
Yeah, I completely agree. Trying to get 2 timer flirts back to back is a little bit too much to ask in almost any situation. There's the second flirt coming off. Again, a white test for 68%, which is fine. It just means that Roxo is going to have to make sure to get their positioning right on the third flirt.
Which in these small, some of the small conversations, that wouldn't be as hard as you might think.
It can be tricky, it's true.
Now, I would say, okay, double agent's nowhere near. Maybe waiting for double agent lands on statue pad, so it's kind of hard to do progress right now. Ambassador's in a very safe place. There's not a lot of statue goers, double agents all the way out. As our seduction target is finally here, so I guess later on we might want to do a tie mat, since there's not a lot of opportunity currently to do missions.
It's a purloin. It's a white test on the purloin, which is usually just death on this venue. It's hard to imagine that LevT didn't see it, but we haven't seen any reaction to it as of yet.
Yeah, I guess we're watching wheels here. Okay, now we definitely see it. What's the reaction? I think Lev just missed it.
On the briefcase on the way through. It doesn't look like we've seen much reaction from Lev here to this purloin. So there's a chance that Roxo's got away with this, kind of.
I would agree with you, Tobo, since if we knew who was in the chain 100%, we at least highlight them, even if we don't know what the fades. I don't think we even initially saw the take, that's the thing. And we kind of saw the missing list late, and because of that, we just decided not to highlight anyone and try to suss out the party in the different means. But if that's the case, a contact into either a print or a statue is going to be a win for Roxo.
Banana bread.
There's the contact. Couple of lowlights coming out here. 20 seconds. Do we have enough time to get... It's not going to be...
It's a bug!
Fingerprint. It's going to be the bug! But LevT is on top of it. The shot comes off, and Roxo, from what looked like a very good position, just not quite able to get there. And LevT gets out of Courtyard up 2-4.
Yeah, I think we just completely missed this purloin. I'm gonna take a quick look back. So I don't think we just noticed this purloin once that list was taken. We're looking either at the statue goer seek here, and we don't seem to follow the list. I think we just kind of missed it. And as I guess in this position you kind of feel desperate, I think it's still a better play, I think, to just go to statues after a contact and let shoot for a soft tail rather than hard tail. This Wheedle's bug is notoriously one of the worst ones, the most visible rather. you can see the arm slightly going back. Even though this is good cover from Irish, you can see the fade out animation slightly, and that's all enough from Lev. And I think that Roxo could have potentially won this. He just kind of fumbled it at the end there.
Yeah. Never quite made it into the statues. I think that was the big problem. If you're not going to do a mission like inspects, that limits your options substantially. And credit to him, that was one of the better bugs you're going to see on that venue. It just wasn't enough to get past Lev's sniper. So 4-2 is the current scoreline as Lev steps in to the spy role of Highrise, any 3 of 7 with fingerprint disabled. In 3, 2, 1, playing it.
Quick note about this Highrise. It's 3 of 7, but microfilm has to be on. Only that mission. So before it was either swap or microfilm has to be on. But for this, oh, it's a white test purloin. Oh dear, oh my.
Very fast.
And the end of red.
That was a highlight on Toby. The contact comes off. I think the contact was distracted enough that he didn't get a good look at the list.
Now it looks.
Now sees the list is gone, but it's too little.
We tried to bug.
Attempted bug on the way through as well. Does not come off. So this is a huge rush coming out of Lev, and I don't think Roxo is on this enough to be able to take a shot on it.
What
it's a swap! That might be enough! It is enough! Lev just got a little bit too antsy. If he had realized his early game aggression had come off unseen, he could very easily have slowed down and got that spy win done, but he was already so committed to the rush in his head, he wasn't able to switch gears, and Roxo catches him on it.
Okay, let's take a look. So, the purloin happens immediately during the game. The snipers rotating to highlight the statue goers. We only highlight the story to see the list. We do a contact, knocks out a lot of people, but later then we just check onto the list, and at this moment we zoom in and oh my god, it's missing. What is happening? And yeah, and I think Lev just too bold. I would say not too bold, but just too rush, and then we just swap, which I think even if you think that you're gonna be dead, if for anything, you might as well try flirt. It's harder to shoot for flirt than it is for statue swap.
Yeah, absolutely. At that point, once you get away with the bug and you're still alive going into statues, I think you have to notice that the fact that you're not dead yet means things have gone a lot cleaner than you thought they would have. So you might be able to get away with just finishing with the soft tell. Lev, already committed, decides to double down, and it doesn't wind up working out. Let's see what Roxo can do from the spy side. In 3, 2, 1, playing it.
So, we said that Lev is quite reserved. That was like 2 out of the last 3 spy games have been absolutely wild for no reason.
Absolutely. Lev breaking the mold a little bit here, and we love to see it. Though it hasn't quite worked out for him yet. He's not as practiced at this kind of spy play that a lot of other folks are. Hello, Ambassador. That's a very dangerous position to stand.
Oh, we twitch bug
comes off as the cover passes through, and Roxo gets a bug past Lev.
Oh dear, oh my. Even though we're kind of zoomed in for that, no highlight on us thus far. And it would just flirt out in contact. I don't mind even a contact at this point. Even that's a lot of lowlights. If you think that you got away with this bug clean.
Yeah, I completely agree. So, in conversation with both the seduction target and the double agent, we've got 42% on the first flirt, and plenty of time to work with.
I wouldn't be very greedy with this banana bread. If you think you got away with the bug, you don't mind losing 2 or 3 suspects. Like, okay, I think now it's gonna be as good as ever. Here it is, a white test contact. Let's see.
And the end of red.
Only a couple of lowlights. And no shot. If there's no shot, I think we're gonna be clean as long as we finish flirt.
Yeah, I think so. He just pops out to grab the lowlights, and if he was onto that bug but wanted to wait to confirm, that would have been the moment, I think. Waiting for the flirts is just a little bit too bold, even for a sniper the caliber of Lev. I think Roxo has this.
Mainly because we are not highlight for it. So even, let's just say we didn't want to shoot for this bug, but we want to credit, I think we would be highlight. And we're not even really watching Rockers flirt at this point. We're watching Ambassador out front. We're not really focusing on who is Rocker flirting with, if we had her as a #1 suspect. So I think you're right. We're just waiting for our seduction target to land somewhere and to finish this flirt.
Seduction target does indeed land. We still have 50 seconds to play, so walking over and talking relatively quickly isn't going to be too suspicious. We do get highlight, but he took enough time between the entry and the talk that I don't think this is going to be a shot. 5 seconds to play. Lev hasn't reacted yet. Roxo gets one back. We're even at 4.
Yeah, just before the halftime. Indeed, I want to take a look at this bug again. Just from the sniper's perspective. Surely we've been watching something else. Let's just see at this moment.
I think he's watching Cowboy, I think is what's happening there. He sees Cowboy taking that path around the back, going for what looks like a reverse drive-by bug, and he's paying so much attention to that he misses the standing.
Yeah, even if you're looking for this bug, a standing bug, that I think we would definitely be at least credited or shot. But I think Lev's eyes gazed slightly elsewhere, and that was enough for Roxo. I wonder what this highlight was for. Maybe it was just a path. But maybe a flirt track, but not enough to credit the third mission. And we move to halftime, tied 4-4. So 3 out of the 6 venues done. We're gonna go to Redwoods, Gallery, and Ballroom. Thus far, both these players been pretty crazy on their spies. LevT more so than usual.
Yeah, I think LevT more so than usual, and Roxo possibly a little bit less. They've played pretty standard, solid spy games so far, for the most part, and one has been able to get by. Lev has not been doing that. They've been very much mixing it up, and this is a decent time to do it, but I think 4-4 coming into the half, it's time for LevT to buckle down and start playing the game he's more used to playing.
Yeah, and moving then along, it is going to be Redwoods. It is going to be LevT on the spy side, playing as Alice in 3, 2, 1, playing it. Oh, that's a walking bug.
That's an early bug. That's an early bug, and when you get time of chaos situations like that, when you can get a bug that's sort of out in the open in an unexpected position, this venue in particular, that is so hard to catch, and Roxo was not able to do it.
That's a very good for Lev. Redwoods, these damn trees are always in the way, and they're in the way enough to cover up that bug. It wasn't the... If you were watching this from a cleaner angle, it wasn't the cleanest bug you can make. But with the cover provided, it is good. Was definitely good enough. Green test on the floor as well.
Yeah, on Redwoods, it doesn't always have to be clean. If you can get something in an odd position where the sniper isn't expecting to see something, you often have enough occlusion with these trees that it's not going to be visible, and that's exactly what happened this time around. 51% on the flirt. It looks like we're going to wait to timer flirt it to see if we can get it done in 2, but unless something goes very much not according to plan for Lev, that's sometimes all it takes on a 4-of venue.
Yeah, so I guess we're making a requisition time of learning this one out. So yeah, we delegate time to expired. I don't think we even sent it. It is a 2 flirt, and we immediately leave to go to double agent. I really like this.
Everything is coming up Lev this game. I said I wanted him to start playing the game he is more used to, and he proves me wrong immediately by getting a beautiful Time of Chaos bug. And from there on, there's no reason to rush, just playing it as steady as he can. Flirt is done. Wasn't able to get the contact done, but still a bunch of time to get that finished with 1:15 left to play. One mission to do besides. I'd like to see him step into statues sometime soon to get that started.
Oh no, the DA just leaves for the second time as soon as we enter.
Yeah, that's not nice. Statues, please.
I would actually, I would say probably best thing to do is Purloin. Not best, but one of the plays I'd like.
Well, it looks like Lev agrees with you. Into the bar we go.
The problem is not a lot of other people going to bar. So if Roxo remembers that Alice is currently basically the only person who has been at bar, and the Purloin comes out late, versus potentially in the overtime, we'd be the only one who could be able to be the center.
Banana bread.
Banana bread does come off.
Contact. I was kind of hoping to see the Purloin immediately afterwards to try to distract. There's the send.
We're sending
Sent the double agent, though.
Yeah. Oh, we're trying to get rid of this drink immediately. It's gonna be in overtime.
It is going to be overtime. We're hanging at 0 as well. I think this Purloin is going to come off. It does indeed. Who does the shot go to? It doesn't look like Roxo knows what to do, but he lands on the correct target. The shot comes off, and it was the right one. So Roxo, from what looked like a difficult situation, manages to hold on to it and come away with the win on the sniper side.
Yeah, this early bug was really good, but... and definitely not, I would say not credited even. We weren't a highlight, but I want to take a look since I think we're literally the only person who has been at bar. Yeah, the last person was at minute 30 and couldn't have been the taker. Could have been the sender, rather, and it's double agent and only us. Literally, the bar is empty afterwards in the OT. And we see the double agent take it, and we just do remember that the Alice was the only one who's able to. And even though LevT had an amazing bug, Roxo correctly figures the puzzle out and now up in the C-race, 5-4.
Yeah, absolutely. A little bit of panic there makes you think that if he had purloined to someone, well, no, because of it was hanging at 0. It was been very difficult for it to have been a direct purloin, but he does figure it out. It does wind up working as intended, and Roxo goes up by 1, stepping into the spy side of Redwoods in 3, 2, 1, playing it.
Also, hard to direct purloin when the taker is the double agent. I know they're called the double agents, but they're not that much of a double agent.
Yeah, I was going to say if he had managed to delegate to somebody else, it might have been a more difficult shot to take, and considering how chaotic the ending there was, that might have been enough, but you can theory craft the ifs, ands, or buts as long as you want. It doesn't change the fact that Roxo got it done and is now on 34% on the flirt from the spy side.
So, whilst we said that Roxo played slightly less chaotic as he tends to, that's what I think it has worked out. At least put the pressure on Lev enough to where it wouldn't be such easy shots. And I wonder if he's gonna feel in his head that, okay, that my spy games, apart from one, weren't really up to par. I wonder if he's gonna try to overthink it and change it, or just gonna follow what he has been working for them thus far.
The thing is, I'm not sure they were not quite up to par. They've been pretty decent, solid spy games. It's just that Lev has a monster of a sniper. I think if he keeps playing the way he's playing and keeps putting on this pressure, he's going to keep finding ways through.
I was maybe my phrasing was off. I was gonna say not up to par when it comes to beating Left Sniper.
I mean, fair enough.
That's the big criteria we have to add. As we're gonna send to Sorry. I don't think this is gonna take. I think we're just gonna... This is gonna expire.
I think so too. I suspect that was mostly more of getting people moving than actually intending the delegate to come off. That's a wrong arm bug on the way out of conversation. Doesn't wind up taking, and LevT, I don't think got a good look at it, but Roxo is not going to be happy with that moving forward. It's going to slow him down a little bit, both in the fact that he just tried something that didn't work out, and in the fact that he's going to feel like there's a bit more heat on him than there actually is.
We just moved away slightly too early. I think if we just waited ever so slightly, that bug would have taken, and with no highlight onto us, that could have been clean. But 50 seconds left, 2 flirts only done.
Yeah, it's not a good situation time-wise for Roxo. I think they've got to try framing someone
And the
here.
red.
And the real contact isn't the best way to do it, but it is a little bit of an out if he can find a fair bit of progress here moving forward towards the end of the game. But with the seduction target stepping away, I don't think it's going to happen. So it's got to be either a time ad or some sort of frame attempt in the last moments here.
I presume this is gonna be a time ad if we're gonna try to complete. Maybe sometimes it is okay to time out, to say that, okay, I am willing to time out, but I don't think this is the particular case. And Lev, I think, correctly holds the shots. And yeah, this is just gonna be a timeout. We're lining up on twin, pardon me, but no overtime. Thus, Lev holds the shots and is tied 5-5.
Gallery up next is going to be another somewhat occlusion-y, larger venue. Long walking paths on this one. LevT on the Spy side to open up the festivities in 3, 2, 1, playing it.
Yeah, sadly, not much to say about that last game. I do agree. It's just we weren't. I guess apart from that missed bug, we weren't really in position to complete, which is sad to say. But I think maybe we just Roxo Spy just a little bit. I guess the game didn't work out for him, and we didn't leave ourselves options for a potential late finish.
Yeah, I think he tried to induce a shot there with the late contact and was just willing to admit defeat if no bullet came from it, and in the end, no bullet came from it. In the back conversation is LevT, picking up 24% on the early flirt. The Ambassador was there as well, in a decently buggable position on the way out if he wanted to, but he did not want to, and the Ambassador has since moved on.
Yeah, and currently, even if we wanted to bug, the front conversation provides no cover for us thus far, and yeah, even then, the Ambassador doesn't take the path.
Yet another slow start on the Spy side for LevT. It's going to be a timer flirt, it looks like, but we're not close enough to make this an exciting prospect. It's just sort of what we've been able to do. It does hit a green test on the second one, though, so that does bring us to 60%. So one more green flirt from a decent distance should finish that up.
Though Gallery is one of those venues where getting flirt done, and especially contact, can be way more challenging than the rest of the venues, especially contact. Only 2 conversation circles and a lot of painting pads where guests like to stare at pictures.
Double Agent does drop in to say hi, though, and though the front conversation, well, the back conversation started to be a little bit less enticing as I was saying that sentence. So we're stepping away and going for a flirt at a painting pad, which does get that done, but that leaves us with 1:45 left to play and no other progress at all.
Yeah, I wouldn't mind contact here. Just, I think, are we gonna go for this double bot? No, we're not.
I don't think bugs like that almost ever work out. They're so dangerous. It may have that time with the zoom in, but the backhand was still visible there, so it would have been a difficult prospect. So back in the back of this conversation we go. I have to assume we're going to try a purloin from back here.
Purloin into a end game transfer, but Double Agent leaves. We took too long, and with the briefcase in hand, it's not even certain that Double Agent is ever going to be in the conversation again. This might be try to be a silent game, but we need 3 more missions for that to happen.
Absolutely. I think maybe have to bug on the way out of conversation here. Maybe over to the blue bookcase. Tries it. It's wrong arm, but it doesn't take as the ambassador steps away at the same moment we do and screws up the path timing. So into statues we go with 35 seconds. I don't really see
that's a nice swap.
Mission completions for LevT here. He swaps the statue straight up. It's just a swap. That's a different statue than it was before. Roxo hasn't shot for it, but like, he swapped the statue. He just did it.
Yeah, SDAs in a conversation, so Double Agent will never land here. We need a purloin and we need to go to do a bug. That's the only way, but Toby is stumbling around. Okay, purloin here.
Lev doesn't know this is an SDA. Purloin is taken, tries to get to the ambassador to do a panic bug at the end of the game, but ambassador is already on his escape, leaving the party just a few seconds before its time, and that's not enough time for LevT to get things done. So though Lev was able to hold a shot last game, Roxo holds this one.
Yeah,
maintains that 1-point lead.
Yeah, that wide swap out of the front yard station, we're lucky for not getting shot for that.
Yep.
And this Toby taking too long for us to get in, for him to get in, and later on the ambassador just decides to leave and not be even in a bug position, and we're trying desperately to chase him, but no time, and Roxo correctly holds. Difficult to do, but with a silent game, slightly more manageable as we're moving on to the second game of it.
5-6, the current scoreline. Roxo on the spy side versus LevT's sniper in 3, 2, 1, playing it. Looked like we might have been able to Jedi mind trick the seduction target there, but it looked like we might have done it again. Does wind up landing in the pad we were at, but Roxo couldn't justify staying there any longer and had to step away before it happened. But she does end up winding up in the conversation circle we stop in right next to us, so we are able to pick up 51% on the flirt anyways. A very strange start, but one that winds up working out.
Yeah, it did. Luckily, it did work out. We're kind of playing musical chairs, our seduction target. We move away, trying to chase her. She goes back to the pad that we were just at. Finally, we land together, and we do complete that first flirt.
We were in here with this double agent for a little while as well, but the conversations weren't quite full enough, and it was a bit too early in the game to justify. So out to the statues we go for the first pair of inspects.
Yeah, no highlights for this. I assume the highlights are only for the completioners.
Looked like we wanted to try to slip into conversation with the seduction target to finish that up after the statues, but forgot how long the seduction target had already been there, so by the time we start moving, she was already in motion as well.
We have some progress in here. Oh, ambassador.
Oh, hello.
Yeah.
That's dangerous. We need to wait until our arms aren't crossed, though, before we take this.
Oh, we're going to rush to our bucket.
It's a wrong arm bug on the way out of conversation. That is definitely a spy-like move, but only enough for a highlight. The bug itself was clean enough that it wasn't seen, but LevT knows it was a suspicious situation, probably has the bug credited as well. So even though it came off, it didn't come off clean enough to truly get past Lev. So flirt done, bug done, 2 inspects with 35 to play.
Minute 35 to play, and here's the real contact. It is a white test.
Banana bread.
The other SDA is out, so the only conversation real is out in the back. And we're the only highlight that's in that conversation. So we might stick out more than we think we do.
Certainly might. Minute and 10 left to play, and all we need is one more statue visit to finish this up. It's time to test LevT's counting of missions once again. Now keep in mind, LevT has passed this test multiple times, interestingly going for the briefcase. A briefcase without any prints on it to try to waste a little bit of time before we head to statues.
Yeah, I think we're gonna go to statues anyways. We'd rather be in Sari's position where we're at, so we are not credited for any swaps. I think we're gonna wait until then. If we're positioning of Rocker, I think he just shoots us. Even if we don't have that bug. Inspect swap of general blocking.
Lets us get rid of our drink beforehand as well, so we don't have to gulp at statues. 20 seconds as we land on the pad. Do we get shot for the inspect? That is the question. 10 seconds.
No shot thus far.
5 seconds. No safety off still. I think he would have taken the shot by this point if he was going to, and indeed he doesn't. Roxo gets through again. It's 7-5. Roxo is 2 games away from the biggest upset we've seen so far.
Yeah, that's oh, we did get credit for that bug, I imagine, but maybe missed the initial entry into statues. And just thinking that possibly, or maybe we just credited that bug, but we weren't very sure of it. And we were just worried about that swap that Sari was potentially earlier. But in any case, this is the first time that LevT, I guess, you say that we failed the mission count, and Roxo takes advantage of it. 7-5 with 4 games left. Two games for more for Roxo to clinch this in regulation versus LevT.
So, Roxo on the sniper side of Ballroom. A venue that I believe they both picked and doubled. Is that correct?
Correct.
This is exactly the situation every player wants to be in. Up by 2, going into their own venue with plenty of time to play on it. But it is LevT he's playing against, so he's still got work to do. Let's see how this handles in 3, 2, 1, playing it.
I guess that would be a frustrating game for Lev, because I imagine in the back of your mind thinking that, okay, I think I could have had them. It wasn't a super... I guess the bug was definitely relatively clean, apparently, but even behaviorally, the only highlight that was in the real conversation circle of the SDA and finish up statues late in the game. It's a good game for Roxo, definitely, but I think LevT will be slightly kicking himself from that one.
Either way, what's done is done. LevT's on the spy side now, 51% on the early flirt at a painting pad. And into conversation we go, setting ourselves up for a possible reverse drive-by if the ambassador comes the correct direction out of the statues, but he does not.
Also, there was a very clear gap in our conversation circle, and LevT was eyeing that like a hawk. I think, sorry, Roxo was actually eyeing up. Roxo is the sniper here.
Yeah, it's true. Our cover did sort of evaporate right before the ambassador stepped away, so things went a little bit wrong in a couple of ways there. So LevT winds up with a bit of a slower start than they otherwise would like. 2 minutes and 5 to play, and we still just have that one flirt. Into the briefcase we go. I don't think that has a print on it anymore.
No, it isn't. Oh, we go for
a bug on the way through, though. That is such a rarely used tactic anymore because often snipers are looking for it fairly closely, but that one looked like it might have been gotten away with.
Oh, the pillar completely blocked everything. That looks just like a regular briefcase return.
A beautiful little
Our
moment from
lowlights!
LevT actually gets a behavioral lowlight at the end of it. So LevT, if they can finish missions and not do something catastrophic, this should be done and dusted.
Yeah, but we really need both a seduction target and the double agent. Okay, now we're requesting. We're going to Purloin. It is a green test. Oh, reject. Request.
Oh, it's the double!
Oh, we have the drink, but the list is still in Purloin pending.
I love these sorts of shenanigans. He probably didn't need to do it in this kind of situation, but he doesn't know that. So as far as Roxo is concerned, this is a fresh chain. There's the take. What's the reaction to this?
Okay, now we definitely see the list going off. Now we definitely zoomed in. What's the reaction?
Not
And the end of
much. Well, there's a couple of flashes. Doesn't look like LevT has any heat on them at all. Flirt is done. Bug is done. Purloin is done. There's the contact. There's the wrong shot. And a beautiful game lined up from LevT puts him back within striking distance.
Yeah, that bug that got us, I think, well ahead. Let's take a look at it again. Not something that you tend to see, but Ambassador in the perfect position where the pillar blocks most of it. And I'm very interested of what possibly could have gotten this low light from us. Some behavioral tell that we don't know.
Yeah. It's possible it was just... Yeah. Hard to say what it was, but it doesn't really matter at this point. What's done is done, and Roxo, on the spy side, might be looking at this lead slipping away. Let's see if they can stop that from happening in 3, 2, 1, playing it.
SpyParty casters who guess right occasionally. Tagline.
Well, we certainly didn't guess right in our predictions this time around.
Certainly not. This makes us very good experts, apparently. In any case, we have the first floor done.
Yep, first flirt at an occupied statue pad. So, was there for a moment and was gone. Not in the most interesting of conversations at the moment. Don't expect anything to happen here.
I guess we're waiting for a seduction target to tell us something where we're not looking at it. Our seduction target kind of look. Now we're zooming out. So, yeah, not a lot of progress to be made thus far. We're waiting for a seduction target to sell in somewhere.
It's just like window pads and painting pads and bunch of places you don't necessarily want them to be. Does this come off in time? Luckily, the seduction target goes for a watch check instead of stepping away, so it does indeed come off. 81% after 2 flirts, but a lot of time spent to get there. 2 minutes and 10 to play.
81% floor, 2 minutes left. We're definitely gonna complete this unless something absolutely catastrophic happens. But what's next? Now we're point at the game. We have to figure out. Okay, I'm gonna do floor and contact. What's the other two? How do I set up?
It might have to be center statues, and that's exactly what it is. Roxo trying to get this mission done with as little time to spend as possible. There's also a print there, so a very high value target at this particular statue pad, and LevT knows it. That's a big highlight.
Yeah, and that print was very fresh. Ambassador just left before we started to go. We went in there, so I think LevT is for sure knows at least that statue had a fingerprint on it and puts a lot of heat on us. Oh, we might be close enough for a bug.
This is an interesting position. I don't think we're quite close enough to take the standing bug here. If we could just get away with the twitch, but we can get away with the standing bug here. We were in range, but LevT is on top of it. The shot comes off, and we are tied at 7.
Oh, what a position to be in. 7-7 moving to the final venue. maybe slightly overzealous bug attempt from Roxo, but you kind of have to test. I guess they have to test Lev, but yeah, the hand plain as day visible. LevT isn't going to miss that this time, and we have two final venues, rather two final games to see if we make this done in regulation, or is there gonna be overtime. But we shall get there when we get there, and if we get there. The final two games are definitely gonna be something to behold, as LevT playing as Blink Twin for the potentially final Spy game in 3, 2, 1, playing it. Oh, that's a bug!
It's a Time of Chaos bug attempt, standing in conversation. Not the start LevT was looking for. The shot comes off, and Roxo has the first attempt at a match point.
Oh, that's just not the VOG you want to do at this point. I think gotta build out Roxo there. Yeah, if you want to try to do that, I guess I want to try to do that later on in the game, but immediately we try to go for this bug. Ambassador doesn't settle, and that's just an easy shot for Roxo, and so much pressure off of him. And all the pressure on Lev. It is a sniper game, so slightly higher odds, but still, a sniper game to just bring it to overtime is not a position I envy anyone.
I don't mind the attempt at all, but you can tell LevT is not very well practiced at these sorts of shenanigans. I don't think you can afford to stop moving at a time like that. Either way, Roxo on the Spy side, 7-8 is the scoreline. This is a chance for a huge upset. LevT fighting for overtime. In 3, 2, 1, playing it.
Over requesting? It's a
It's
purloin.
a very early green purloin.
Oh. That's bold.
It certainly is, but with so much to pay attention to early in the game, he found a situation with Toby very close to him to start things off. That's a good leave. Don't want to be near that when it comes off, and it does come off. What's the reaction from Lev?
Okay, some low lights are
Seemed like
coming
he
out.
short-circuited a little bit there, but now he's taking low lights where he can get them. I don't think he has a good idea of what happened here at all.
Yeah, the lack of low lights kind of indicates this. We know a couple of people for sure couldn't be, but okay. Oh, we're highlights.
That's a big highlight. Not the only one, though. So even though LevT was definitely caught unawares by that, he recovered very well, got not as much information as you'd like to get off of a purloin, but certainly good information nonetheless.
Yeah. And if you don't, it's a real contact. A white test.
Not a bad contact either. Smallman was already low lit from the opening. A couple of more come out. So we've got about half the party knocked out right now. 2 minutes left to play.
Interesting that Duke, the list taker, is low lit. So that's something worrying, I think, for Roxo. Though we can
Another
possibly...
worrying thing is 1:45 to play is when we get our first flirt of the game, and it's the worst possible distance on a green test, 27%.
Yeah. Oh, and we immediately leave, and I think if we try to flirt this too aggressively... Oh, we're going center statues. Oh, this ring of umbrellas!
Apart. LevT is on top of it, and Roxo isn't able to do it on the first time of asking. LevT holds to overtime.
And here, we thought we never get to it, but here's the overtime format. I sent you the links for the... I've sent the replays to you, Tobo. But here is our new overtime. Let me pull this up. So, we had 8 venues that were eliminated out of the 13 in total. So 2 banned and 6 picked. Those venues cannot be played anymore. The 5 remaining venues in this case, veranda, terrace, balcony, pub, and aquarium, both people get to pick one venue with 2 games each. And if a person wins 3 out of 4 in these 2 venues, then then the player is the victorious right here and there. If we're still tied after this, we're gonna repeat the same thing, but with those 3 venues. So for example, if we go 2-2 in this overtime, we're gonna repeat the same thing, but with only 3 venues remaining. So for example, Lev would pick either terrace, balcony, or veranda, and vice versa for Roxo. And if we're tied again afterwards, the last venue remaining will be played as an infinite. So we could potentially have infinite veranda if both overtimes are still tied.
Oh boy.
Yeah, and as Lev picks aquarium and Roxo picks pub, and the next place we are headed into, Tobo, is aquarium.
Aquarium, the home of shenanigans in SpyParty. This is a place that usually favors the more seasoned players because they are the ones who've had to deal with this the most. Not always. Sometimes there are specialists, if you will. But I do think LevT has the upper hand here. Let's see what he's able to do with it from the Spy side first. In 3, 2, 1, playing it.
I think this is also the first aquarium in this. Oh, we're delegating cheese immediately.
Immediately a delegate.
And the shark was at the top. And we're immediately delegating to Sorry. Yeah, we're delegating to Sorry immediately. I think we're just saw the shark positioning immediately, knew that we were invisible, and we just take that opportunity and go. What's the reaction?
The home of shenaniganry in SpyParty. This is probably going to be a clean mission. We'll see how Roxo reacts to it. LevT is able to pick up 18% on a flirt. It's better than 17, but not by much. There's the purloin take. What's the reaction? It's a highlight. And nothing else.
Yeah.
It's just a shot! Roxo could not figure out any way that that person could have gotten delegated to. So the shot comes off, and it's not the right one. LevT's spy shenaniganry finally gets through.
So at the beginning of the game,
that game away from taking the set from the sniper side.
We're not 1 win away. We need 2 wins away. It's 3 out of 4.
That's true. I'm so used to more standard overtime formats.
Just this time it's like, yeah, but very good recollection for Lev. Seeing the top shark and perfect opportunity to jump the bar, and we are basically invisible, and Roxo just cannot fathom, like, as who could have else done it. We assume we just misclicked and did a direct instead of delegate, but Lev, with the crafty shenanigans in overtime no less, finds the first win.
And that's experience. That's why I was saying that Roxo probably has the upper hand on Aquarium, because if you've played this venue enough, you get a feel for these kinds of things. You know when you're visible and when you're not based on where the shark is, and you know what you can get away with. And right now, LevT is the one who has gotten away with. Let's see if Roxo can do something of his own in 3, 2, 1, playing it. Was angling for an early bug there with the ambassador, but turned off at the last moment, realizing that the shark was not in a friendly position to make that work. So it's just a flirt, a green test early on for 45%, and into the bar we go.
When's the shark ever truly in the friendly position? I don't think that ever think the shark is just like, yeah, the shark is very friendly, I think it seems.
I don't know. LevT seems to think it was a pretty friendly position at the start of last game.
That's fair. I will concede that.
So here's a delegate coming out of Roxo. We'll see if they're able to do anything interesting with it.
There was a fingerprint on that drink. And we're grabbing a second one.
So very early prints coming out of Roxo. Gets highlight for it.
I think we were with one of the ones to for that fingerprint, but still, Lev is not gonna take any chances. We'll get a highlight for fingerprint completion.
Absolutely. In conversation with both the seduction target, who we flirt with on a white test to bring us to 71%, but also with the double agent here.
Yeah, of course, not notable for Roxo, but the average day is out, so the only conversation not real is ours. There's...
This is going to put a lot more heat onto Roxo specifically as the only highlight in conversation with a double agent in that time.
Of course, hard to know on this big venue that General was one of the the SDA. Bit unfortunate for Roxo, but we're gonna get this flirt on, I imagine. But what's the last mission? As the only highlight who has real, I have to imagine that Lev is paying a close eye onto us.
I mean, if he can find a way to make shenaniganry happen for the last mission, I think that might be the way to do it. If you can bug and hide behind the shark, if you can do some sort of statue, swap and walk, I think those are going to be Roxo's best bets because he does have a lot of heat on him right now, I think. 96% on the flirt, not able to hit the last green is unfortunate positioning.
Luckily, any flirt will do. But what's the fourth mission?
It looks like we are hanging out for a timer flirt. We do have the time for it.
Yeah, we do, but I wonder.
It's all going to be about lining up the last mission. You're right.
Yeah, I wonder if we're gonna try to frame ourselves as being the sent to delegate. Thus far, we're just...
I don't know.
Yeah, seems there's gonna be a mill shark next. Maybe we can potentially try to do a bug hidden behind shark, but I'm not even sure.
Lev's gonna be watching it so closely.
Oh
my goodness, that was not the timing.
No, not the timing. He wanted to do that with the low shark, but I think that's the and Lev goes to match point if we get to mention. But I think that's just an experience on this venue. Just the shark always goes on a predictable timer, so once you know when the start happens. So I think Roxo just looked at this shark and thought it was a bottom shark. We'd had cover, but unfortunately we're sticking out, and that's just an easy shot for Lev, and we're in a match point yet again, Tobo. Into pub we go to potentially close it out. Keyword potentially.
3 of 7, 17 guests, 2 minutes, 25 seconds. LevT on the spy side first in 3, 2, 1, playing it. Early delegate from Lev.
Very
Not as quick as last time, but it doesn't need to be. There's no shark to give you shenanigan cover.
That would liven up a pub for sure, but don't think sharks tend to do well out of the water. A lot of bar visitors. I wouldn't mind just sending this immediately almost. Oh, we're trying to pretend that we're redirecting to this briefcase here, but Irish picks it up first.
Yeah, it doesn't look like this delegate is going to come off. Too much activity at the bar for it to happen in time at this point, I think. So in conversation to the seduction target we go, looking for another green flirt to finish this in 2, ideally. Opts not to. Just going for the briefcase instead. So this is going to be difficult, but there is a print here. Can we hit it? We can hit it. So this could be very big for Lev going forward if they're able to hit another.
We can't do the same bug shenanigans since we can't spill a drink on the ambassador. And yeah,
but with that kind of angle, it's kind of nice to have that drink in hand just to make it very obvious to the sniper that you can't be bugging.
Oh, that's a white test. We really wanted to finish that here.
Yeah, we really did. 1 minute to play and 85% on the flirt. It's going to be a little bit tight to get that done as well as the rest of it because we don't have a single mission completion yet. Mind you, it is a 3 of, so we've got time to work with. Here we are
This is the
into our
fingerprintable
one
statue.
inspect. It is printable, so the inspect and the print will come off of this. Roxo can't know that we don't have the flirt done either, and he's not taking the shot.
Oh, I wonder
I
if...
like the positioning from Lev, staying as far away from the flirt pair as possible. There's the flirt. What's the reaction from Roxo? Does find the shot! Amazingly, manages to hold his nerve and pull the trigger, and Roxo is now 1 game away. Mind you, it is a spy game, but 1 game away nonetheless from pushing this to yet another overtime.
Yes, so all to play for Roxo. I would say the destiny is in his control, and we are headed to potentially the final game. And the final pub game, that's for certain, Roxo as Alice. Let's see if Roxo can climb himself into yet another overtime. Or are we going to sell things here? We're going to see in 3, 2, 1, playing it.
Roxo's had one match point, wasn't able to convert. LevT has had 1 match point, wasn't able to convert. LevT has a second to play with. And Roxo starts with the early 31% flirt.
Yeah, it's of course on pub is, if you can get away with it, a 2 flirt on pub is absolutely so huge, considering sometimes how difficult it is to finish it in 2. It's still, if we get a green test, even if we timer flirt this one out, it's going to be fine for progress. But just, I don't want to...
really need to hit that green test, though, because 31 is not enough to get it done in 3. There's the cooldown expired. Can we hit this green test? It doesn't matter, because the seduction target steps away before we get the chance. That's not good for Roxo.
Yeah, that's super not good. I thought we were trying to line up the bug, but it seems not.
No, you can't bug there.
Yeah. I meant as the ambassador was maybe gonna try to go into our conversation, but sadly not. We're just innocent watch check. We are not doing anything with it.
1:20 to play. The timer is already becoming a serious issue as we step into statues for this inspect.
We are behind pillar.
No prints here this time around.
Interesting, Lev doesn't take statue highlights.
That's a distant entry to the conversation with the seduction target, so we really do have to hit a green, and we do hit the green. It's 73%. And we get it at 54 seconds, so if we need to time our flirt, we can, but we do need another mission besides.
I don't think we can
Where's
time
it
the
gonna
flirt
come
out.
from?
I don't think we can time flirt this one out. But
it would cause an overtime for sure if we did. But we need to move anyways, so there's another mission to be done.
Oh, are we gonna try to... I think we're gonna try to frame a Perline here.
I think so.
Surely this is a direct. It is a direct.
2 seconds. It is a direct. It's in time as well. Does LevT take a shot? He's zooming in, but he's not safety off. He is safety off now. He does take a shot. And Roxo is able to hold on for another overtime.
Oh dear, oh dear. Oh, that's a very nice finish. There was a fingerprint on that drink, and we had a fingerprintable briefcase right beside us. So, we're gonna go ahead and go into a second overtime. Tobo, I've sent you the link, but to see where we're headed, overtime 2, it is Lev picks Terrace, and Roxo picks Veranda. So two of the complete opposites. And if we're still tied, we're somehow still here at the Infinite Balcony stage. All roads lead to it. But let's see if this match will need to take that road.
Starting things off at Veranda, it's LevT starting off the festivities on the Spy side versus Roxo Sniper in 3, 2, 1, playing it. At least it's not going to be Infinite Veranda.
You would... I guess so. It's the lesser evil of the two.
Oh, this is a very dangerous position for the Ambassador to be in. Roxo takes a wide rotation to make sure that they're covering that arm as best as they can. And LevT knows that this is not an angle they can take that bug from.
Yeah, but Veranda, the only other 5 out of 8 venue in this pool. So you can't, it's hard to play slow in this. We do hit a green for 51%. That's a good start.
It certainly is.
Master keeps coming.
It's a good start, but it's still a slow start. This is a 5 venue. You need to make sure you're on top of your progress. And LevT did get a nice flirt to open things up, but hasn't really been doing much besides.
Yeah, nothing we're doing. Yeah, we're just... Oh, seduction target comes right to us. Oh,
That's so nice to see for LevT. Not able to capitalize with the green test, but the free white flirt there is a big deal. It's
oh, there's a bug!
85% and a bounce bug on the way through. It's very busy around there. Lots of cover from the conversations. I don't think Roxo was able to get a look at that.
Oh, that was from the sniper's camera angle. That was very clean. We got the fingerprint off that book, and suddenly we have quite a lot of progress.
Bug done, print done, 2 flirts. I don't think Roxo was able to really get a look at any of that as far as the bug is concerned. So that's probably a clean hardtail from Lev. Mind you, he still does need another of the more difficult missions, but with the start on the prints as well, this could be LevT's game to win.
It's still on LevT to finish that. We have a great start, but we still need to complete. I presume we're gonna... Oh, we want to finish that floor, but seduction just leaves. I think we're just gonna try to follow and see if she is going to... Oh no, what a tease! She turns around and leaves us.
I think we landed in the pad at pretty much exactly the spot that the seduction target was going to. So, winds up repathing on us instead. Had a moment to drop into the conversation with them, but opted not to. Minute and 50 left to play, and LevT, despite having a couple of really strong moments, is once again a little bit behind the clock here.
We're gonna get this print off the drink. I imagine we did request for it, so that's gonna be print completed. If we get potentially Flurry cocked, that just leaves us with 1 mission. But what is gonna be that last mission?
Minute 25 to play. Stepping in for the flirt now. Gotta get this done quickly in case the seduction target decides to grab that briefcase, and indeed he does. And it's not the seduction target that grabbed the briefcase, so it wouldn't have mattered.
You don't want to risk it, especially in this. That possibility. So I imagine we're going to go to this double agent. And what is the play? Are we going to go statue to statue and dare Roxo to shoot us at the end of the game? Or are we going to try to go for something bold like a purloin potentially?
Well, the contact is done. Now is where we find out. 45 seconds to play, 1 mission to get, and no progress to get it with. Question is, where do we go with it? It's statues, it looks like. Now, the question is, do we inspect or do we swap this? There's a lot of activity on the other side, both Toby and the Ambassador over here. So, LevT...
Oh, that's a swap! White swap!
He does take the swap! Roxo checks it for just a split second, but didn't get a look at the statue, and LevT wins from the spy side of Veranda, which is a tall, tall order. Roxo once again finds themselves in a very difficult position after game 1 of overtime.
Yeah, the bug was definitely invisible. The very good opportunistic swap from Lem, noticing that both Toby and Ambassador are all the way on the other sides of the venue. And at the last moments of the game, the sniper's vision was completely on that side. We didn't even check that to that swap since we're so worried about the endgame purloin and endgame bug. We didn't, and we flew under radar very much throughout this entire game. We weren't even suspect for that swap.
Yeah, that was a beautifully played spy game from LevT. Let's see if he can do the same thing he did on Aquarium from the sniper side here. If he can go up 2 in the first venue of the second overtime, that's going to be a big deal for his prospects moving forward. Let's see if Roxo can manage to hit back and keep things level in 3, 2, 1, playing it.
Oh me, oh my, what is that? No words.
Absolute cinema. As we step into our first flirt of the game, it is a close white test for 34%. It's not quite what you wanted, but certainly not bad either, especially now that the double agent drops in to say hi. Probably not something we're going to act on, but we do have the option.
People tend to not want to do a very early contact unless we were trying to hide something to distract. And
early contacts can work okay to throw the sniper off of their usual rhythms. People often use contact as a bit of a prod to take a shot in the late game, but this time around, Roxo is not doing anything of the sort.
Yeah, we're not currently doing much of anything. I thought we were going to time edit this window, but Roxo decides against it. It's kind of walked away through all of this venue for no gain, unfortunately.
All the way back and all the way forth goes Roxo. Back into conversation with the seduction target. There's the second flirt. Another white test brings us to 68%. Again, this is fine. We just need to be careful with our positioning for the last flirt to make sure we get it in 3. Takes an innocent drink as well with just over 3 minutes to play.
Yeah, we're trying to fly low under our radar, and whilst currently we are doing that, but we're not much closer towards the mission progress. At this point, Lev was, even without that bug, Lev had a fingerprint at that point as well, so he had a option to have some partial progress. Thus, however, not doing it. Kind of like awkward in this conversation where, again, we can't really do much. We're gonna have to leave this as well.
Yeah, awkward situation indeed. This has been a very slow start from Roxo, and again, that's not something you can often afford of a 5 of venue. Might have to just take a purloin here, but not even getting offered.
Okay, we're going for this briefcase here. I was thinking
Wins
maybe
the briefcase race, although it was a fairly suspicious one. Gets a print out of it, but still not in a great position time-wise. Really has to be moving now.
I think there's a fingerprint that green bookshelves here. The ambassador just left it, so... Or is he carrying it around? I may have missed it, but if there's a fingerprint there, I would definitely try to go and grab it. And even maybe potentially try to do a transfer. This back conversation here is pretty damn good for transfers, and in this set, no one has even attempted it. And whilst it's usually the hardest mission, if the sniper isn't looking for it, it might be a free one. But instead of going to statues, it's a green swap!
It's a green swap! Not a common play to be made at this level. We'll see if it works out for Roxo. Got the highlight for it as well, though, so it's a bit of a dangerous situation.
We're gonna try to delay this?
Flirts.
Oh, I thought we were gonna try
There's
to
no
delay
print
this.
here anymore. I don't think. Oh, actually, Ambassador still has the book in hand, so
Oh.
there's no print here to begin with.
Kane comes in to swap for us. Let's see if he watches the fades.
Here we go. Fade is on camera. Definitely got a good look at it. And once again, LevT goes up by 2 in overtime.
Oh, yeah, it's just a bit too slow. The swap may have worked out, actually, if the ambassador didn't decide to come into that side of the venue and stay there. So if the ambassador was on the other side and we're tracking it for bug, we may not have potentially been in the situation to watch that swap fade. But with that ambassador positioning, we were all over it. LevT takes the shot and I think is on the 3rd match point.
And he's going to have a 4th if he doesn't manage to convert this. Terrace is our next destination. LevT on the spy side versus Roxo's sniper in 3, 2, 1, playing it. But right now, it's all eyes on Lev.
We really wanted that seduction target to come into this conversation. We're kind of almost out of it, or just barely in by our tippy toes.
Double agent drops in to say hi. This would be a pretty early contact, and Lev doesn't want that, so stepping away.
Yeah.
See what the seduction target does before we step back into conversation, it looks like, and not in a very accessible position, so LevT steps away.
Well, LevT, I think, definitely had more success on the large venues. This being a 3 of 7, this might favor Roxo. He's been, at least on Highrise and the smaller venues, has been looking definitely better. So if he, whilst he had troubles on the library around the 5 out of 8 venues, I'd imagine both his spy and sniper were better on the smaller venues. So maybe there's still a chance for Roxo to go to Infinite Balcony, where I think, again, could be even...
And Infinite Balcony is the ultimate smaller venue, so if he can get there, that might play in his favor. That being said, LevT finally does pick up his first flirt. It's a distant green to bring us up to 38%.
We can't count our chickens before they hatch, so neither does Roxo. One game at a time, they must say. And thus far, Lev, again, playing it slow, maybe potentially looking for a frame and daring for Roxo to shoot it. And would be and you have to imagine for Roxo, that's a difficult decision to make. Again,
it's so hard. Like, both this venue and on double overtime, it's going to be so hard to hold a shot.
Yeah. Here's the second flirt.
Green again, 77%. Not close to the seduction target, but the action tests are picking up the slack. And into the bar we go to pick up our delegate.
Yeah, so Lev deciding to try to send the delegates. Oh, we're taking it! We're just taking it!
It's not a delegate at all, it's just a direct purloin! Leaning into the 50-50, what does Roxo do?
Not much right now. I think we're just... Okay, now some low lights are coming off. Now you got neutral lights.
I don't even think you need to worry about lights at this point. If you know who your two players are, just stare them down. Flirt, done. 38 seconds to play. One more mission needed. It's the double agent dropping in to say hi. There's the contact. What's the reaction from Roxo? He's got to take a shot now. He does take a shot, and it's the correct one. Roxo stays alive from the sniper side. One more match point from LevT.
Oh, you could see the shakiness of that laser. He was not happy about that purloin going off. And even at the when the contact happened at this moment, we're thinking between Red Dress and us, but see, flickering back and forth, but eventually lands on the correct shot. And yet again, one more match point for Lev before if we go to Infinite Balcony. But Firstly, Roxo has to convert on his spy side, playing as Blink Twin. And the 8th game of overtime. Let's see if we can go to more in 3, 2, 1. Playing it.
Worth noting that so far, in overtime, players have won 100% of the games on the venues they've picked.
You're correct, yes.
Roxo picking up the statue to start the game, not the kind of thing you usually see on Terrace. So a little bit of a breaking of the mold might be what he needs to get Lev just far enough out of the comfort zone to get something by him.
Yeah, that's mission is very rarely done. Sometimes I would say too rarely by spies. It is a risky mission. I would go for a fake contact. 3 of all the bar goers are out.
Yeah, that is a lot of information to give up, but also it's a fairly powerful fake because it gives up so much information. We'll see if it pays off, but I'm not sure I agree with the decision.
Oh, how confident are you to try to do a frame game as your potentially final spy game in overtime, nonetheless, after 23 games? If Roxo was going to try this, that is going to be extremely bold.
High drama. Both the seduction target and the double agent in the other conversation. Roxo does drop in to say hi, but keeps his distance from anyone else in this conversation. So it is a green test, but it's not enough to get the flirt done. It's 89%.
Yeah, Roxo may be thinking that's if I go to Kane quickly back to back, that is something that Lev could potentially catch, and especially on this venue where flirt tracking is ever more important.
This conversation has cleared out of useful people, although it's still a fairly full conversation. Back into statues to finish up the inspects. This might be a silent game as far as real contacts are concerned. If your only contact is a fake and they know you can't have a real from it, especially if you get a print here as well.
Yeah.
If you finish with inspect, print, and flirt, that is a very, very unusual game.
And we're moving close to the ambassador to force them out. I think we're just going to go for this. Oh, but General's going to take it.
Wasn't able to get the ambassador out to the bar.
Oh, but the shot comes on General.
It comes off for a briefcase return. And Roxo keeps the streak going. 100% of games won in overtime on the venues they have selected. It is 12-12 in a best of 16.
Oh dear, oh my. And all rows eventually lead to infinite balcony. The format is the overtime format almost disincentivizes it, but eventually every single one road leads to us here. And at this point, it's anyone's game. After 24 of them, it is gonna be, both players are gonna be exhausted, they're gonna be nervous, and it's gonna be a fantastic time for us to watch, but not for them to play. It is LevT on General for the first balcony game. In 3, 2, 1, playing maximum pressure all the way through.
Oh, goodness. I mean, it's balcony. You're not going to get away with a bug like that early on. You just stayed in AI control just in case the nerves got the better of him and he decided to right-click. But winds up with 47% on a not super early flirt, but I think a third talk flirt.
Banana bread.
Those sort of intricacies do, in fact, matter on balcony. Early contact as well, very good one. A green contact. It's a pretty good start for Lev. The ambassador drops in to say hi again, but Especially with General, there's just no way that this bug happens.
Yeah, it's too risky.
Do we chase to the window to try to get the second flirt? Time is starting to tick down. You want the second about now.
Yeah. I think we're just waiting for small man to come into conversation circle. Oh, no.
Yeah, but I think we've waited too long. I think we have to chase him now. 40 seconds left to play.
Maybe thinking of someone waiting for a sip shot. Balcony is one of those places where sip shots are... Oh, the ST.
There's the chase. Can't get it done here, even with this green test. 92% is not enough, but Roxo doesn't know that and takes the shot for a 3 green game.
Oh, that is an amazing shot from Roxo. Oh, if they would just notice this slightly awkward entry here. But, yeah, it was just a slightly awkward entry here. But even that's just thing that's General is... the spy must be chasing someone, either Red Dress or Small Man, either which takes the shot. A correct shot is... And it is match point. We're gonna have a lot of those potentially.
That is an absolute top tier balcony shot. LevT has had 4 match points and hasn't been able to convert on any of them. This is Roxo's second on the spy side of balcony in 3, 2, 1, playing it.
And you could, I would say you could even, it's not the most, the worst thing to actually just try to act or talk as little as possible, because on this venue especially, there is a possibility as we go for a far flirt 25%.
That was a green test too. Green test for 25%.
Yep, I guess if we finish up we move away and get close to our semi-close to our seduction target, we may not be flirted with anyone. If we talk again, if for example Whale was with us and seduction targets come us, that could link us with that. Oh, green contact knocks out Kane, who was taking a drink, and oh, we're not the highlights. I thought for a second we were, but it's just Salmon.
So 47 seconds to play. We still just have this one flirt. Roxo is not in a good position to finish missions here, but there's a decent chance they won't have to if they can induce some sort of shot out of LevT. The question is, you've already done your contact. How do you induce a shot? There's the second flirt. This one a much closer green to bring us up to 75%. Safety is off. So is the shot. LevT stays alive.
That was
13 all.
Very bold shot. We just talked twice throughout this entire game. The first time was near Salmon, indeed, was next to Salmon and Wheels here. And the second time we're talking again for Salmon. And crediting a 3 green game potentially, even though we got the detection target wrong, we credited a 3 green game as Lev, and we shot the correct spy. This
has happened both balcony games with 3 green credits. This is really top tier stuff.
But
boy.
Yet again, it is infinite. We're continuing until someone sweeps. Let's see if LevT can break and finally win a spy game on balcony as Kane in 3, 2, 1 playing it.
Interesting little stutter on the AI control. That's not the kind of thing you usually see. Not close to the seduction target, so this is not ideally where you'd like to wind up in conversation to start things off. We'll see what LevT is able to do with it. The early flirt is a white test for 23%.
Yeah, not looking great thus far. Just it were highlights, but only a couple of people only actually. Oh, we're white test whilst Toby's handing us the drink, and we're ignoring it. Roxo notices it.
You can ignore Toby for a little bit longer than you would otherwise if you are talking during it, but you can't quite get away with doing it for that long. Roxo is on top of the take timing on Toby. An impressive way to win a balcony game. Not the kind of thing you usually see, but it's these little optimizations that win you matches, and Roxo has yet another match point to play with. Let's see if he can take this one home in 3, 2, 1, playing it.
Oh. What mental resolve, especially from Roxo, being the underdog and still finding these correct shots. Oh, early highlight onto us, though.
Mid-range white flirt on, I think, the second talk gives us 29%. I think second talk is the most suspicious talk to have.
Behavior, I guess so, yes. It's no spy really wants to be the very first talk. And by that logic, they will never will. So actually, the second one is most suspicious. It's the game within the game.
It's less that you don't want to be the first talk, and more that it's hard to get your flirt done quite that quickly before someone else starts talking.
That's also true.
Balcony is its own beast.
Just
decent time for a contact. Flirtation cooldown has expired as well. Roxo not taking it immediately, so not going directly on the 45-second timer, but not waiting too long after either. 74% after the second test turns up green. 45 seconds now left to play, so if he waits for the timer flirt, again, it's going to be overtime, but he doesn't have to, as the seduction target steps away.
Oh, the conversation is crumbling besides us. Only 3 in
That's
it.
not bad, though. Lots of room near us for the seduction target to drop in, and that's exactly what happens. There's the last flirt with 25 seconds left to play. All we need is the contact. It's a red test! The cough happens! The shot comes off! And Roxo, with a beautiful opportunity to put the match to bed, hits a red test flirt.
Oh, I has to be nerves at this point. Surely. I mean, maybe you really wanted for the green, and green bar was very close to the edge and we just missed it. But I had to assume that the green flirt beforehand was pretty damn good. I just have to assume that's nerves. But unfortunately, a big mistake. And Lev is not going to let that slide. And we're moving infinity and beyond in this balcony. And yet again, LevT as Alice. We're still going 14-14. This could take more, even longer. In starting
we are fast approaching a double length set. LevT on the spy, Roxo on the sniper in 3, 2, 1, playing it.
Oh.
Very early flirt, green test with 36%. I think that was the first talk.
Yeah, no highlight onto Highrise in general, so maybe not crediting those talks. Not really highlight. Okay, so indeed we are highlighting it. Maybe we just think that was just the first talk in a conversation, not a flirt. But yet again, it's balconies. The lights are the most changeable on this venue in particular.
Keep in mind this briefcase is fully just a way to deflect suspicion here. Something spies very rarely do on this venue because flirt and purloin are fingerprint and purloin are almost always off. The low light doesn't necessarily mean everything on balcony, and indeed it does come back up again. People play this venue very different than they do other venues. We're under a minute now. 2 flirts to go.
Oh, I was almost excited that we were potentially getting away with maybe a win if we... Oh, it's a bit of an awkward entry. And we do get a highlight and a neutral light for it. Sometimes people
We've
use
been-
this for tracking purposes.
We've been neutral light twice now, though, so at this point it's not
Banana
tracking
bread.
purposes, it's just trying to decide who is suspicion. But either way, a lot of eyes have been on LevT
Oh,
this
safety
game.
off on general.
I don't think we're going to be able to get it done on the flirt with 20 seconds left to play and 2 flirts to go, but he may not need to. Roxo is just waiting for an excuse to pull the trigger on General. But he's now under 10 seconds. General didn't talk in that time. The bug on the way out of conversation did get seen, and Roxo is on yet another match point.
Oh, the good nerves from Roxo. I'm
If
flabbergasted.
General talked in those last few seconds before 10, that would have been a shot, and it would have been a very different situation. Instead, LevT has to go for a desperation bug, and it was a good one, but not good enough. Roxo, match point in 3, 2, 1, playing it.
Oh, yeah. Oh, man, this is exhausting for us. I'm not sure. I can't even fathom how exhausting it is for players. 25% on the far flirt. But I think we're paired with red dress rather than our actual seduction target text.
Banana bread.
Good contact. It leaves the seduction target, as a low light, but that is okay.
Oh, yeah. Are we gonna try to chase the Windows potential flirt, or are we just gonna wait for text to finally blind the conversation? But again, far.
We have not seen a lot of flirt completions. I don't know if we've seen a single flirt completion in this set of balcony games so far. Steps away and goes back in to readjust for flirt positioning, or a minute left. Not talking immediately is a little bit risky as far as the timer is concerned, but kind of required as far as suspicion is concerned. It's a green test on the flirt to bring us up to 76. That's big. 40 seconds to play.
Oh, seduction target moves away ever so slightly and comes back.
That could be enough to move the flirt timer just enough, but Roxo's not going to chance it. Away from conversation they go.
Oh, but our ambassador's taking our spot. We have to hit
okay. We don't need perfect positioning here.
We need a green, though, I think.
76%.
Never
We're
mind.
okay, but not that okay. LevT takes the shot, and we are back even.
Oh, are we crediting this bug potentially? Surely not. Maybe. Because we didn't even talk. Maybe that's just a credit for a bug potentially. But we are the only highlight, so maybe you're thinking of having any excuse for a shot, and that conversation entry, maybe that was enough. But in any case, we're back. Tied up 15-15. We are gonna go the double match length. It is at least
kidding me.
Tobo can't believe it. I can't believe it. LevT on the spy side. On spy side in 3, 2, 1. Playing it.
This is nuts. It's an awkward entry, but he does wind up directly next to the seduction target. It was awkward, but it was plausible.
Yeah, that's especially very early on. That's that kind of chaos. It's a white test on the flirt.
Not ideal, but not the end of the world. It's a green test on the contact. That's a bigger deal, in my opinion. Section target moves to the opposite end of the conversation. That's a problem. If we can hit another flirt here for green, get to 50% and then step away and try to get a green on the next close one, I think that's LevT's path to victory here.
We aren't going for this immediately.
Taking a little bit of extra time to try to deflect some suspicion, gets the flirt off, immediately talks and leaves. 60% on the flirt, so we are going to need a green test to get this done in 3.
We need
Doesn't need to be a perfectly close green, but it needs to be close enough. And the way the conversation is laid out right now, we are going to have to be right next to the seduction target. Luckily, we're given a spot.
How fast do you
30
talk
seconds.
here? You talk immediately. It's a green test.
Fast. It's the green. Is Roxo willing to take this shot? So far, it's no. The hold was not the correct answer this time around, and Lev gets their 5th match point.
Oh, that's a very good green from Lev, and I think we're pairing. I think we are paired with Red Dress here at the end of the game, and Red Dress is nowhere in the conversation. Oh no, it is in the conversation, but it is far enough. So maybe you think, okay, maybe he still needs a flirt, but unfortunately, for the first time, this is the wrong hold. No shot comes off, and Lev is on the match point for the first time in this infinite balcony overtime. And Roxo needs a spy win to survive, playing as Plane Twin in 3, 2, 1, play it.
Spy wins have been hard to come by on balcony. But Roxo needs one now to keep this set going. It's 47% on the first flirt. That's pretty dang good. It's not perfect, but it's pretty dang good.
We can afford...
Positioning, however, was not, so Roxo is going to step away early and is going to find a new home in this conversation, which is going to make things a little bit easier. Yeah, that was definitely the most AI-like thing I have ever seen on a balcony game coming out of our seduction target, so Roxo has to bounce back into conversation. Does get there, but it was an awkward situation.
But again,
this is balcony. Low lights don't necessarily matter as much as you think they do. We've got the contact done. We've got 81% on the flirt after the second. 1 minute to play. Tons of time on the clock.
Yeah, and it's so likely that it's almost impossible seduction target to come anywhere near where we don't finish flirt. As long as she just enters the conversation circle and we don't get shot for the flirt, that will be enough. But she does have the briefcase, and we do need her to come into the conversation circle.
There's the briefcase give. Out to windows she goes. Still 30 seconds to play. That's enough time. Not talking, hanging out at a distance, under 20 now. Lots of sipping going on at the windows. Under 15.
Oh, this ST is not moving.
Overtime at this point. This is so brutal. 5 seconds. She sips again. It's a desperation bug, but it doesn't take. LevT didn't see it, but it didn't take. And Roxo, with what looked like the perfect game, gets the worst second half of seduction target movement I have ever seen on balcony, and it's enough for LevT to secure their spot in the championship.
Oh dear my.
17-15, Lev gets it done.
Oh, I can feel tragic for Roxo. Seduction target does finish with this briefcase, and we're just waiting for the seduction target to leave windows. She redirects near the ambassador. We can't join there. We're assuming after the sip she's gonna be done. Then she checks the watch, and then takes the briefcase again. It didn't even, I don't think we see this bug. The cane actually provides quite a bit of cover for us, but that's got to be the most tragic war I've ever seen. A last game, last half of this game just completely falling apart with no fault of his own. But that's just sometimes how SpyParty works. And after all of it, Lev is going to be facing C-Rams in the Challengers Final to move for the chance for the Champions Round Robin. That was insane. I don't know what else to say.
So it's going to be Lev versus C-Rams And Wrestler versus Opie writes, big games coming up in the Challengers final for the spot in the championship round robin.
Yeah,
But that's all we've got for you guys tonight. I hope you had as good a time as we did, because good Lord, did this match deliver. If somehow this is your first time seeing us, this game is Spy Party. You can get it at spyparty.com or on Steam for $25. If this has made you interested in having a go at competitive Spy Party, drop by the Discord at discord.gg/spyparty. There's tons of lovely people there who will gladly help you out. There's more coming. Keep your eyes on this channel this weekend. We're going to be finalizing the champions division before the weekend is out. And I hope you guys had a great evening with us, and I hope you have a great rest of it. Good night.
Very well.